This video is sponsored by Studio Bebop and YugiOhPrices.com for all your pricing needs. Now available on the App Store. For more information, check the description below.
What's up guys, this is Lintheo coming at you with a deck profile of my Hieratics version 2 for this format. Now this deck's been testing very well. I love Hieratics, it's one of my top favourite decks alongside with Herald. And yeah, it's just been doing really well, so I thought I'd give you an update. My last last Herald profile's been pretty popular. And I've had a lot of other people asking me for a new build. A lot of people saying I should put Wingbeat, Giant Wingbeat the Dragon. I still don't like that card. I still think it's just too combo-y. Because obviously, I know a lot of people say it combos with Tefnut and combos with Red Eyes. And people are saying just put one card in, but then just having one is really inconsistent. And it can be such an awful dead draw, it's like untrue. So yeah, so that's the reason why I haven't put it in. People are more than welcome to argue the point. But I have kind of I have made, you'll see why I haven't put it in, basically, in a minute. So yeah, without further ado, I'll get into the deck profile. So we have the standard kind of heretic engine. We have the 3 Tefnut, doesn't really need much explanation. By this point, I'm not going to explain like the obvious cards because they don't need it. 3 Su. 3 Asset, still playing 3 because you need to. In my opinion, it's one that can kind of really help you with kick off if you don't get that Tefnut. And then just the 2 Nebthet, still only using the 2. I think 3 is just a little bit overkill. And I hate drawing into this card at times. It's just really annoying. And 3 I find is cloggy. The 2 Vanillas, I still haven't found my Luster Dragon. No idea where it's gone, Luster Dragon number 2. So as soon as I find that, it'll be in here, but that's like a Luster Dragon number 2. Not playing Galaxy Serpent because it's bad. In my opinion, I don't like just going into level 8 synchros. I just think that you can explode a lot more, and it's not really needed. So I'll only like to keep 2 Vanillas in the deck. Then we have the 3 Karkar-D for the speed. Karkar-D in here is amazing. Don't care what anyone says. It's ridiculous. It just works really well. Then we have the 1 Red Eyes. Again, doesn't really need much talk. If this card ever goes more than 1, it's going to be ridiculous again. But yeah, 1 is all I can play. And then going on to the hand traps, we have a Gauze. And just 1 Trag this time. You'll see why. I've had to make some space for a couple of other cards, and Tragodia was one that was cut down. I know that I can play Gustav Max now, but actually through testing, I've kind of been like, okay, well, I'm going to try a build that doesn't have him in, because he is really nice to have. But yeah, so only running these 2, Gauze and Trag, they complement each other quite nicely. Then going on to the other hand traps, we have 2 Fet Vela and 2 Maxi. I think these cards are kind of really staple this format, because we don't really know, you don't really know what you're going to run into. So the Velas, more than anything, are really useful. You can side out the Maxis if you really want, but I still think they're needed, because you really don't know what you're going to go up against. Like, Dragon Rulers are still a thing, so the Maxis are really good. And then you have, you know, other random stuff like Infernities. You don't want them to go off. So you need to make sure, if you're going second, you need to make sure that you got yourself covered. So that's why there's those hand traps. So then going on to the spells, I am still with the 3 Stoic Challenge. Again, don't care what anyone says, really. If you think this is nuts, it should be 2, 1, none. 3 is ridiculous, 3 is good. 3 wins me games. This card wins me games on its own, especially when I'm punching into those Drago Sack tokens with my Gaia. So it's just ridiculous. So I don't really see any reason why people shouldn't be at least trying that card. New ban list card, we have the 3 Convocation back up now. So yeah, doesn't really need much talk. You run as many as you can. And then the same thing with Pot of Duality. I really like 3. You can just do like a lot of digging. It's quite nice, especially the first turn. Ideal first turn is this in Karkar-D, because you just plus ridiculously. You search your deck so much, and it's just really nice. Then we have the 3 MST. Don't forget, this is an aggressive deck. It always will be an aggressive deck. So it is needed just to make sure you don't run into any back row. Forbidden Lance, the exact same reason. You don't want to run into any back row. Ideally, try not to use this with a card, obviously, with Stoic Challenge, because it won't work. But yeah, so 2 of them. And then the final card, the final 3, is 3 Traps done. Main decking Traps done now, because you just really don't know what you're going to run into. And I'd rather be safe game 1 and be able to, like, surprise my opponent and just, you know, go off. This card really helps me against these really annoying, like, anti-meta decks. Or just decks that are trap heavy, because, like, the new Dragon Rulers do run Skill Drain, even though they do run one copy. It's still annoying. While it doesn't stop my special summoning, while it doesn't stop the effects in the graveyard, it still does stop my my Sues and my my Atoms, you know, all of my other XYZs. So it's not too much of a problem, because if they do have if they do have Skill Drain, I can still go into Gaia and punch with Stoic Challenge. Obviously, it doesn't do piercing, but it still does a lot of damage to them. So yeah, so Trapstun's really been working well. You just kind of like set this, and if you want to go off, you just set this and just wait, and then in your standby phase, you just like flip Trapstun. I can go off now. Okay, thank you. And this just means that you can just start popping the back row with Sue with no fear. So you can start plussing really, really like heavily. Because more often than not, when you like go with Sue and you pop a card, you think, okay, if this is like compulsory, this is going to be really annoying, or just anything like that. So Trapstun works really well. It's actually been testing very well. So I love the card, and I think that it is very useful in this deck. So it's exactly 40, as it should be, as all my decks are really. So yeah, so going on to the extra deck, we have the 3 Atom. Again, don't really need to say much about Atom. And then to complement it, we have the 3 Gaia Charger, kind of like the MVP of the deck because of Stoic Challenge. Yeah, don't really need to say much about those guys. If you're wondering what they do, you should really check it out, and I'm not entirely sure why you'd be watching this video. Then going into 6s, we have the 1 Exabeetle. That's come in now because of Gustav Max is gone. We have the 1 M7 for the OTKs. We have Gauntlet Launcher for the same reason. We have a Force Focus because he's a beta. And then we have a 1 Photon Strike Bouncer because it's a really good card. A lot of people forget how good this card is. He's big, and he can just negate and start doing a lot of damage to your opponent. So yeah, I really do like him, and it's fun against Bujins as well, because, well, if you're against Bujins, you're probably going to win, if I'm honest, unless you're playing bad. And then the last 2 are for the 5s, Pallades and Volcasaurus. If you can't do the card D first turn, there's a possibility you can do this first turn, and just this card in general is ridiculous. And again, you can overlay with Gaia Charger. Again, same with Volcasaurus, you can pop and then go into Gaia Charger. The amount of times, well, the amount of games, I've kind of just gone, oh, well, I've got Stoic Challenge in hand, I can get level 5. Okay, go into Volcasaurus, pop your monster, do the damage, overlay into Gaia Charger, 2 materials, gain 600. You know, it's just ridiculous. Well, gain 1-2 because you've got 2 materials. It's just ridiculous, and it's very unfair, and a lot of people get very angry when I do it. And then the last 2, the 2 Synchros, Ancient Sacred Wyvern and Black Rose Dragon. Again, these are very standard because you do run the Veilers if you want to, you know, if you're in a difficult situation or you want to push for game. This is just here just in case, and this is here because I think it should be in nearly every deck that can possibly make it, because it's a great out. And a lot of people like really struggle to get to stop it. Outside of like Veiler, not a lot of people run like the Huge Revolution is over and Starlight Road because Heavy Storm's gone and mass removal isn't around as such. So yeah, so that's why I play this card, and a lot of people see it coming. You can see it coming a mile away, especially when you normal summon the Veiler, but they're kind of just perilous. They kind of just can't do anything. And yeah, so that's really it, guys. That was just kind of like a very quick deck profile for you, because I thought people might want to see it. I did have a lot of comments and messages saying they would like to see a new version. So that's basically it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Do let me know what you think. Represent the Heretics. Come on, a lot of people have jumped on the bandwagon since the new ban list has been announced because people have realised they're, you know, a thing again. But yeah, so cheers guys, thank you very much for watching. Likes, comment and subscribe. Cheers.